Welcome everybody to Data+Women New England Tableau user group today. We're just gonna wait a few minutes for people to join in and then start our session for today. And in the meanwhile, you can just write in the chat, where are you traveling to this long weekend or where are you joining from?
Ooh, somebody's going on Oregon trips. That's another place that I want to go to. I want to check out the hiking trails in Portland.
Cool.
I am with Scott. I'm such a homebody. It's like, yeah, the
Same.
6 hour flight to San Diego was long for me. So
Oh,
Oh,
Jane's joining
wow.
from Boston. Cool. Acadia National Park.
Jane Kamara is our Ironviz student
Mm-hmm.
winner. So say hi to her, everybody.
Woohoo.
Jane.
Welcome, Jane.
That's a place that I would want to visit. It's in my bucket list, Acadia National Park.
Same here.
See, the last movie I watched was Dune, and I am excited for Furiosa, the Mad Max movie, too. I kept thinking Mad Men, and I was like, those are very two different
Two
things,
different.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
The movie with Anna Taylor-Joy. Is that a Mad Max movie?
Yes, yes.
Oh, okay.
Absolutely. I think I love the Charlize Theron one, the last one with, yeah, that star cast was really good.
I
They
didn't
have
see
the
it yet.
second one coming this cycle with, I
I'm
cannot pronounce
excited.
the actress's name. It's three names, but Dawn knows who I'm talking about.
I'm excited for Deadpool and Wolverine. So, I'm a big Marvel person. So, um, let's see. Looks like we have 20 people now. Looks like we're still getting a couple. We are a quiet bunch today. For those of you joining, can someone tell me how to unmute myself? Everyone is pretty much muted unless, so on attendee mode, you are already muted. So the hosts and the moderators are not. But when we go to breakout rooms, you should be able to be unmuted when we do that part of the session today. So I would say it's for after, Krishma, if you want to go ahead.
Okay, sure. Welcome everybody. We're just going to start the session now. I'll start with the agenda so everybody has a good knack of what is going on today for the session. So we'll just have we'll welcome everybody and then share a little about our tug and then have a community spotlight on our co-leader, and then that she'll do our tips and tricks, and then we'll move forward to the networking part where we do breakout sessions and we talk about how to be your own advocate or just navigate through your career in Tableau. And then after the breakout sessions, we'll just conclude it to what tips and tricks were shared today, and then how to just be your own advocate. And then in the end of it, we'll just have a quiz, a Kahoot quiz, and then we'll end up the session with question and answers. Just some housekeeping rules. The session is recorded and will be posted in a day or two on the YouTube channel. That's Team Data Fam, if I'm not wrong. And you can chat in while the sessions is going on. We love an interactive chat and people communicating through that, just because everybody's on mute. And if you have any questions and answers, you can just put it in the question and answer tab that we'll open up the poll in like a few minutes. Just because in the chat, while people are chatting, you lose up some questions, and we don't want to do that at the end of the session, so that we can go through everything at the end of it. So those were some rules, and now we can go into the session. So this is our leadership team. It's me as a Tableau user group with the other three. We have Karishma, Dawn, and Sakshi. So this is our leadership team. And we have our advisory council as well with Ria, Meta, Hippo, and Noel, Madhuri, and Preeti being our advisory board and always helping us with suggestions and feeds to what we bring best to the session. So that's about us at the Data Plus Women New England group. And now I give the spotlight to Dawn, who's our co-leader, and she'll tell more about herself and then go forward from it. So Dawn, I give it to you, and I'll stop sharing if you want to share your screen or just.
Awesome. Thank you.
Okay.
Hi, everybody. I'm Dawn Harrington. I'm going to go ahead and start sharing my screen. Entire screen.
And just for the session, the question and answers has been started. So anybody wants to post any questions, you can go ahead and do that.
Okay. So Dawn Harrington, I have my own blog site, techtipsgirl.com, where basically my goal is to share tips and tricks with, Tableau users. I did start this with Alteryx users at one time, but it's really been Tableau as of late. And I also do Microsoft Office tips. So I started out my career teaching Microsoft Office stuff in HR. I was in HR for 8.5 years. And I just really started sending out tips, to kind of with the goal in mind to save users some time, help them with their career, with like just learning new things. I had a class on Access Database, or I had like an Excel class. So then it graduated to some of the other tools that I was learning. I even taught a SQL course. So one of the places, if you want to know where you can learn some of these things yourself, is because I'm all about sharing the knowledge. Because you yourself, if I can do this, you can do this. So a place that I went to is w3schools.com. And this is where I learned SQL. They also have HTML. So I went to school the first time for an art education degree. That was a long time ago. I'm not going to say the date, so I won't date myself here. But I do remember what it's like to call Blockbuster on the telephone. So if you want to know how old I am, that's kind of a reference. I remember Blockbuster and wall phones. So I'm sure some of you on the phone probably remember when we had wall phones. And you take your wall phone off when you didn't want anyone to call you. So yes, W3 Schools, HTML, CSS, because I went to school the second time, much later, and got a computer applications degree, just because I felt that my first degree wasn't really getting me very far in my career. And, I just thought, this is something I want to do. My goal is to always learn something new. I'm going to start Python course through eCornell soon in June. So I'm always wanting to learn new things. So w3schools.com is where I would recommend. I also have my own YouTube channel where I'm slowly starting to do some videos here. My recent blog this week, just to do a little plug, is to create ghost bar charts. Because I'm a big gamer, I thought of ghost bar charts. Like I was thinking Pac-Man, like how the ghosts like change color and, original. And so basically I'm going to show you what I mean by ghost bar charts is in my Tableau public profile. I have a lot of dashboards that you yourself can download. I don't have them restricted. So if you want to see how they're configured, you can feel free to do that. I'm the kind of person that I want to download a workbook and try to see if I can't create the exact same thing myself. So I'm like dissecting it, I'm, building it. So in my employee work time dashboard, I have these ghost bar charts. At the very bottom, you can see if you click on a bar, it changes color, and you can click on and click off. So that's a neat little tip to make them look like, ghosts from Pac-Man. I don't know. It might be a stretch, but I just thought it would be something fun to kind of go over. There's so many different ways to do bar charts. And I kind of, save a lot of favorites in Tableau Public. There is a whole bar chart menu that I talk about in my blog this week about, different visualizations. I'm trying to see where I can find it. You can check out my blog if you want to see. I'm giving you references to favorite in Tableau Public for, learning how to do new things. So other things I like to do is Makeover Monday. If you're not aware, I strongly suggest if you're starting out with Tableau to give this a try. Because what they'll do is this started with Andy Kriebel and Anna Murray. Also, hopefully I'm saying that. Please correct me if I'm not saying it correctly. But they have all of these content where they give you a link to the data and they give you a visualization. So, they might find something on Google and then they'll take that visualization and recreate it in Tableau and kind of enhance it. So if you want to kind of do that, take a data set, see what you can make of it. Also, you can Google in LinkedIn, like if you search for Makeover Monday, you can see what other people have created because we're all different. We all have different perspectives. I think it's awesome to see what other people have created in Tableau with that same data set. So I strongly encourage you to, try this out. And I do the same things for my students. I teach classes where I work. It's about 200 users. Unfortunately, it's internally. I don't offer any classes externally yet, but I can refer you to some places where you can go if you want to learn Tableau and you want to, talk to some very educated instructors. I know Steve Adams is one. He runs Viz DJ. He has a really good site. Andy Kriebel, he has a really good site. He's one of the first, I would say, pioneers of Tableau, if you want to call it that way. He has his own site, VizWiz, where he does tips and tricks. So Makeover Monday has its own data source in Data World. So I just wanted to tell you that is a big resource that I encourage you to go to because it has many different data sets. Like, you could find a data set on doing Taylor Swift if you wanted to, like downloading data for Taylor Swift and all of her albums and then doing a dashboard. And then Tableau Public, because the software is free, that's where you could publish it to. So I strongly encourage you just to download the application and get started. It's very easy to start with Tableau. And I would say show your progression, just like I have. Like I have some dashboards here that I cringe because I look at them from when I first started and I'm like, oh my goodness, what was I doing? But this is how you're showing your portfolio. You can create resumes with Tableau. You can show, some of the first ones that you started creating and then where you are now. So it's a great way to show your portfolio without having to, keep it somewhere else. It's directly in Tableau Public. Some others that I would recommend checking out are VizArt Pandy. I've learned a couple of tutorials from him. He has a really good how-to stuff out there if you want to check him out. The Fleurlage twins is another place to go. I've looked at a couple of I would say many of their blog posts about data scaffolding or some of those things, or, even some, enhancements to bar charts, like if you're coming from a beginner standpoint. So I would say check their articles are very helpful, very thorough. So I would suggest going there. And then, of course, there is Workout Wednesday. So this is where they give you a data set and they're like asking you, can you create something? I would say it's a little bit more challenging than the Makeover Monday sessions. But once again, people post these. You can see there's Power BI. There's not just Tableau. Lorna Brown has one about can you create this tube map this week? And I know Sean Miller, if you see him on LinkedIn, you should follow him. He will do this live. He will do a Workout Wednesday or a Makeover Monday session live that you can follow him on LinkedIn. So if you're first starting, those are great places to start. Some other things that I would want to say is, learning. Salesforce has a Trailblazer. So if you like games like me, video games or gamification for your learning, you can earn badges through Salesforce Trailhead. So you can see I've got 8 badges so far, but I've got some little neat badges here. And it's not just Tableau. It's some of their other software. There was a Tableau AI. Like they have a lot of stuff there. So if you like games, you want to earn badges, I would say try Trailhead. And there's also e-learning. Tableau has like their own kind of learning paths and so on. I know there's a cost for this for those of you that don't work where I work. So if you're interested in this, check that out. So those were the main resources that I wanted to go over, just because, like I said, I teach classes and I really want to help others. That's my goal. I thought it would kind of tie into what we're talking about today with how to be your own advocate, is kind of help yourself by putting the time in to learn some of these things, like make yourself an asset and know multiple things. Don't just know like one tool of like Tableau, like know, other things. Cause I would say Tableau is like 20% of what you're, going to do with a client. I would say data is 80% of what you're, data wrangling, data cleansing, those kinds of methods. So doing the fun stuff, the cool stuff in Tableau, of course is needed, but then I would say know how to get your data, wrangle it, clean it as well. So blog site, then I wanted to go over a quick tech tip. So let me see if I have the presentation open. Let me go to Google Docs here. I had it up and then it didn't have it up. So whoopsie, whoopsie on my part. And if you're curious, I was on a podcast earlier this week with another Tableau ambassador. I'm a Tableau social ambassador as well, 2 times last year and this year. I was very grateful that I was voted, we're all voted to be ambassadors from the community. And they voted for me. I'm very, very grateful. And this podcast is called Data Plus Love. Like that's another podcasts are great because you can see another side of people that you might not be aware of. So let me go ahead and show you the slide. Make sure I covered everything. Okay. So, yep, 2-time social ambassador. I'm also an Alteryx innovator. I'm the Tableau COE training lead at JP Morgan Chase. You saw that I write my own blogs. I have my own YouTube channel. I'll be at JP Morgan 17 years in July. That's of course means I started when I was 12, right? No, I'm just, I'm just kidding. I host internal tug sessions and wow sessions, and I branched out to Data+Women. So I really wanted to get this started and start the conversation. I teach beginner and intermediate and advanced classes. I taught over 1,600 users last year. And hobbies, love any video games, anything science fiction. I love reading. Sometimes at night, just curling up with a book is like nice and relaxing. I like hiking. I love Zumba. I haven't been doing it in person since 2020. I want to get back into it. Get back into like the high intensity stuff. I also like to paint and I also like to sew. So those are other things about me. So then I wanted to get into a tech tip. So for those of you, I'm going to just show you something quick in Tableau. I'm going to give you a Windows tip, even though I have it separately second, that has saved me a lot. So what if you accidentally delete something in Windows and you're like, oh my goodness, I really needed that document. How do I get it back? So you can, there's a quick way of getting to that folder. You have to go up, say I deleted something in New Year, New You Viz, like inside of that. And you have to go up a level so where you're seeing the parent folder. So in Windows, you're going to select Show More Options. And there is this Restore Previous Versions. So remember that will save you if you accidentally ever delete something in Windows. So click on that Restore Previous Versions, and you will see that Windows will periodically save versions of your folder. So, I deleted it today. So I'm going to go back, earlier this week and double click on that. And it will open as a little snapshot in time showing you, oh, okay, this is from Friday, May 17th. And say I deleted something here, I could just take it and then drag it back to the folder where it's gone. So Windows will periodically save some of your folders. Sometimes it'll save more, sometimes it'll save less, but this is like the restore points that it'll periodically do. So this has saved me. I want to share it because maybe it'll save you too if you accidentally delete something. Hopefully you never accidentally delete something, but I'm just saying there's a way to retrieve it if you accidentally do. So that is a Windows tip. Another Windows tip is you'll see that I have little pins here. So let's say you go to the same file folder every single day. You're tired of navigating to it. You can pin it to your file Explorer window. So you'll see all these little folders here have pins on them. So if you go to a new location, my Tableau repository, I'm going to go to my shapes folder. You can right click on home and pin to quick access will save it to your file Explorer window. So I'm going to select that, and I should now have my shapes folder here. So whenever I go to the taskbar and type in, documents or something like that, I should be able to automatically see that shapes folder here every single time. So we'll save you from having to go and navigate to that manual way. I like to pin all of my locations. So 2 Windows tips there. So then I want to talk about a Tableau tip. I'm going to see if there's any questions about Windows tips. Somebody didn't know about the previous version. Oh yeah, now you do. Now it will save you like it saved me. So then I'm going to go to showing you I'm going to stop sharing that. Okay, make sure that I have Tableau Public open. So I want to talk about parameters with you. So what exactly is a parameter? And I'm taking this directly from Tableau's help.tableaus.com's page, is that a parameter will help your users interact with your dashboard. They define it as a workbook variable, such as a number, date, or string that can replace a constant value in a calculation, filter, or reference line. So a filter enables you to narrow down the data, filter it down, so you can see like central if you're filtering by region or something like that. So, you can also filter across multiple sheets, like with a filter. But a parameter will allow you to interact with the dashboard in a way that you specify. And in Tableau Public, I have a whole dashboard for parameter actions that you can download, and you can see the different examples. I have 4 examples here. I'm going to show you one of these today. So you can download this. I also, I have other little tips and tricks in my Tableau Public dashboards, but you can see you can have a button here that changes the granularity of a line chart. So if I click on week, I'm changing the view by showing you week on the axis. I'm selecting month, so it's showing me month, year, and then I could also go back to day. There's also a hover example with parameters. Hover isn't really great for the server. I would say do it on click instead of hover, just because you're doing rendering on a server. So, and maybe you don't want your user to like instantaneously change what you're seeing. So be careful with hover. There is a drill down that you can drill up and down with a parameter, whereas the hierarchy option allows you to expand and contract all of them at once. The one I'm going to show you today is this one. So with a parameter, you could do a column swap. So instead of having multiple bar charts showing you region or segment or category, you can have them all in one. So I could say, okay, I want to see what sales were for category, and I can see the different sales here. Or, oh, I'm going to flip it by region. So, oh, I'm seeing the different sales by region. Or I'm going to see the different sales by segment. So I can see those options there. You can also, I have some others here, but I just wanted to, because of time, I'm going to stop. I could talk all the time, but I'm going to stop here and show you how I'm going to do this one. So in a Tableau Public workbook, I'm connecting to the order sample superstore, and I'm going to create a parameter. Well, you can click this down arrow up here on the data pane and say, I'm going to create a parameter, or I'm going to right click here and say create parameter. Whichever way that you want to create a parameter, there's multiple ways of doing the same thing in Tableau, just like Excel. There's multiple ways of doing the same things in Excel. So I'm going to say create a parameter, and I'm going to base this on a list. So I'm going to say, okay, I want this to be a category choosers, the name of my parameter. And I want this to be a string because I'm going to type the values of, I want segment, I want region, I want category. And I'm going to say I want them to be a list. And a list will allow me to type out the values that I want to have. So I'm going to say, I want to see category, or I want to see region. I want to see segment. So this is the value. This is the display as. There's other things that you could select, but I don't need to select anything else for this parameter. So category, region, and segment. And then I'm going to select OK. Well, a parameter by itself won't do anything. So you have to accompany it with a calculated field. And I'm going to get to that in a second. But right now, I'm going to create my visualization. So I'm going to put sales on the rows shelf. And I can't go anywhere here because I need to create a calculated field based on this parameter. So another little quick trick is you can right click on a parameter and go to create and calculated field. And that parameter field will automatically be in that calculated field by me selecting, right clicking on this and saying create calculated field. So I don't have to type it out. I don't have to drag and drop it into the calculated field itself. It will automatically be in there. So I'm going to do an if then else statement. So I'm going to say column chooser. So here, and if you want to ever see what if then else or any of those other statements, make sure to click this little arrow here and say, I want to do if. I'm going to type out what calculation I'm looking for. And Tableau will give you the syntax of what it is and a sample syntax of what it looks like. So I'm going to say if category chooser was equal to category, then give me the category field. Now I could start typing out category field, or I could just take it and drag it. Else if category chooser equals to region, then give me the region. Else give me segment. And then end. And so I'm going to put this, I'm going to say, okay, the calculation is valid. I'm going to click OK. And I'm going to drag this to my columns shelf. And I can see I already have furniture, office supplies, technology. I'm going to stretch this out a little bit. And I'm going to show the parameter now. I'm going to go down here to my parameter, right click, and select show parameter. So because I put that calculated field on the columns shelf, my parameter, I can now swap back and forth. And now I'm seeing region. Oh, now I'm seeing segment because of that whole if then else if calculation. So this is one way that you can, save time by having 3 visualizations. And one, I would say, just by having that swap column chooser. Parameter magic. Preeti is right. So other things, housekeeping things, right click, hide your field columns. A great habit to get into, and this is one trick that I learned not too long ago, is if you go up to the format menu and select format workbook, you can get rid of grid lines all at once throughout your workbook. So format workbook, instead of having to change every single sheet each individually, you can turn off grid lines, 0 lines, axis ticks, axis rulers, all in one location. So I got rid of my grid lines behind the visualization here. So that's my quick tip. I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to see if there's any more. Oh, somebody wants to see the calculation one more time. Yes, definitely. Okay, column chooser, and let me zoom in. Whoops, and then let me expand the screen here. So if category chooser equals category, then give me the category column. If category chooser equals region, then give me the region column. Else, give me the segment column. So any questions about any of the many things that I have shown? I'm going to check the chat here. If you've got a question for me, we are screenshotted. Okay. I can see where you're. Go ahead. Somebody else has. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing my screen and
Wow,
I'm going
Dawn, this was amazing. I'm gonna use this swap all the time now. And Preeti just had one question. Like,
to.
what is one piece of advice that you would give to somebody who wants to start like technical blogging?
So there are free sites and there are paid sites. I've got a little bit of HTML in the background, so I picked a site where I wanted to be able to edit that. So I picked Wix.com, but there's
Mm-hmm.
WordPress. I know there's a couple users that do WordPress because it's very similar to just a Word doc. So it's a journey in itself from when you start helping people, and then you'll just advance like the more you do it. And so I would say start with a WordPress blog. And then make sure that you advertise it in many of the social media avenues.
Perfect. Thank you so much for sharing. I am gonna share my screen back, and then we can move ahead with the questions. Just making sure if anybody has more questions, they can put it in the Q&A or just have the chat there. Mm, Okay. Yep. Okay. Perfect. Now we go to the networking part where we have two breakout sessions that will be created now. And just to make sure it's just a topic that we want to be your own advocate or how to just navigate your data career to Tableau. And the two questions or the two topics that we have for today is like, oh, have you found a mentor, or are you a mentee, or do you have any sponsor? And then the next question would be just to relate to the same topic. Have you thought of anything that you want to do next in your career, or have you already decided? So these will be the questions that we'll be sharing. And the breakout sessions would be like 5 minutes each. So we would just try to create those now. Do we have that done already?
You're on mute, Don.
Oh, you're on mute. Yeah.
Yes, I am on mute. I'll do 5 breakout sessions or breakout rooms and then time limit 5 minutes. So
Perfect.
is it letting me do it? There we go.
Okay, so we have the breakout rooms now. You can join anyone and we can start interacting with everybody on the team and then share your thoughts and then come back just after 5 minutes.
Sorry, it cut you off, Grishma.
Yeah, yeah, I did. Yeah, I was saying all of my career advices and everything, or anything where I'm stuck in my Tableau public profile, or just what I'm doing, I just go to my mentor and he helps me figure out stuff. So yeah, it's been great. So it's not just career advices; it's something that I learned from Tableau as well. Got to learn some more tips and tricks from him. So it's been like an overall experience.
Yeah, yeah, great advice. And while we were all in breakout rooms, if you could hear us or not, we asked the question, have you found a mentor or a sponsor? So the next breakout session, the question we want to ask is, have you decided what you want to do next in your career? So I'm going to hit the breakout rooms again. And I apologize because I'm still kind of learning this whole break room technology. I swear we will be experts at the end of this year. So we appreciate your patience with putting up. This is our second session. Yay! So,
Yay!
so we will see you in another breakout room. But
Mhm.
think about the question: what have you decided what you want to do next in your career? So I'll go ahead and hit that create now, and I will join now.
Hello.
Hello.
This time I swear I perfectly finished my time for talking and then the breakout room just ended.
Preeti says she's an attendee again. Okay, I will change you back to presenter.
Thank you, Don.
So we had some interesting conversation about like where do you want to go from your career, and I'll just speak up with like what we were talking about in like our room. I kind of think about like not where I want to go with my career, but what I want to learn next. So like I said, I want to learn Python. So we were talking about like learning Python. I don't know if somebody else wants to go and talk about what they learned in their room, what they talked about.
So I figured out that Nandini and I both wanted to pursue psychology at some point.
That's
So
awesome.
yeah,
Me
yeah.
too.
Who is that? Sorry.
I said even me, even I wanted to do it at some point.
So we have so many psychologists in the room already.
No, cool. I think from the two breakout session, we had different set of people. There was Rolly who brought up the mentorship program that Tableau offers and the Data Visualization Society. So I will put that in chat. So if anybody is looking what for a mentorship mentoring option or an opportunity to be a mentee, these could be the avenues that you could go to. And I had an interesting question asked: what does it mean to be mentored or to be a mentor? So that could be something that we explore in coming seasons, because that is such a unique question depending upon who you interact with, right? And for the second set of question, we had a wide range of people in our group,
उधर खड़ी है.
from people who are just starting their journey, with people being students who are not even in the industry out there yet, from people who are exploring what their options could be because they want to make that choice, and from people who are already in the leadership role and looking forward to how the market and the trends are going to change over the years. So a wide range of people, but I think fairly a lot of the audience that we have here is very young and very new to the Tableau world. So welcome you all, and we will be trying to be as helpful as we can to share all the information that we have that could help in your journey.
Great points. Krishma, did we, just because of interest of time, and I'm sorry I went so long in the beginning, did you want to turn it over to Midori for
Yes.
how to be your own advocate?
Sure. So we had the conversation. We get to know more. We can put it in the links that about the mentorship program and stuff. And thank you, Preeti, for bringing up that. And I will switch it to Madhuri for more tips on being your own advocate. So take it away.
Thank you, Karishma. Thank you, Don. I think this is going to be a continuation of what we discussed in the breakout rooms. So we'll talk about like tips on being your own advocate. Before we get into the tips, we need to know what is self advocacy, right? Self advocacy is basically standing up for yourself and demanding your worth. In terms of like workplace, it's about gaining access to opportunities and resources that serve you and the future that you envision, and surfacing your contributions to your team and your company. Put another way, it's mindful and deliberate participation in your own future, right? How do we kind of achieve this? The first thing is to know your worth. Self advocacy, it starts with you. And with your mindset. If you're not convinced that you're worthy of good things, then it'll be hard to get others to believe in you. Only you know what you want, right? And don't be shy about bringing in the value to your team. Too often we kind of like expect recognition or promotion without actively working towards it. So find a way to work with your manager, and look for opportunities that can actively build your reputation, and point that out in the meetings, tactfully to present your wins. So in terms of like, I will kind of relate this to the data. So knowing your worth is basically identifying your data points, right? And then the second step is to have a clear vision. A quick question for you all. So, how many of you all know what you want to be, or where you want to be in few years down the lane? And put them in Q&A. I'm curious to see some exciting answers. We've already discussed in the breakout room, but I'm just more curious to see that. I'm an advocate of a philosophy that each of us are the creators of our own destiny. So we need to have a very clear vision of where we want to go and what we want to be, right? Once you know that, it's easy for us to put it down, to set our goals, define our goals, present it, put it in front of your managers or leaders who can actually help us guide and pave us a way to achieve the vision that we are looking forward to. In this process, it's a process of like, it goes hand in hand. You work together towards a common towards a dream that you are envisioning, and translate that dream into reality through a clear, forward looking, and an actionable plan. One thing that helped me to be in the place where I am today is, I create a vision board every year. A vision board is basically, it's a collage of images that represent your goals and dreams. So you cut out pictures from magazines or newspapers, and words that help inspire you to manifest your dreams and get where you want to go. Or it doesn't have to be a vision board. Essentially, you can actually translate it from pen to paper too, right? Take a paper, just put it down, have a list of your short-term goals, have a list of your long-term goals. It could be personal, professional, or it could be joint goals when it comes to your family, right? Because being in the data visualization field, one thing that motivates or inspires me is that once I visualize what I want, then I know the next steps that I need to take, or like that I know the effort that I need to put in, or the time that I need to contribute to make sure that I achieve the vision that I'm seeing. So this is more like, you're building your dashboard. I would relate it to that. You have your data points, you're starting to build your dashboard, right? And the third thing is you communicate clearly and constructively. Communication is the key to success. Whether it's asking for feedback, voicing concerns, or sharing or proposing new ideas, the way you communicate can make all the difference. First thing, so you aim for clarity, and then have the courage to discuss your goals and be open to dialogue. As a regular practice, ask for feedback on your technical, emotional, or communication skills as important elements of your ongoing development, rather than assuming that your manager is responsible for your growth. No one is responsible for your growth. You are the CEO of your own career. And always approach conversations with a constructive mindset. Remember, it's just not what you say, but also how you say it, right? So this is more like, once you build your dashboard, you kind of like, reach out to the stakeholders for feedback, whether it's positive or constructive feedback. That's how I relate this to. A question to you all. How many of you ask for consistent and continuous feedback, and how many of you are open to constructive feedback? Just put it in the chat. The next thing, so now you know your worth, now you have your goals defined, you have your vision, then you put it out in the communication. You communicated that clearly. What are the next steps? You kind of track your accomplishments, right? Don't make assumptions, because sometimes we think others can clearly see our contributions and accomplishments, when in reality, they may not be aware of the depth and breadth of our capabilities. So advocate for yourself by being specific and explicit about what you have accomplished and what you can accomplish for the organization in future. It's hard to practice self-advocacy if you don't understand what value you bring to the table, right? So tracking accomplishments is very important. So have a little brag book. That's what I call it as. So a brag book is basically like a small document or a journal that helps you track your professional achievements, compliments, or feedback. It could be an email, a positive feedback in an email form, or a recognition, and the results that you have achieved. So once you have your brag book, it's basically like a test script, where you passed all the tests, right? And then the next step, so now you have your worth, you have your vision, you communicated everything clearly, you have your accomplishments ready. Now comes negotiation. Negotiate for what you need. Whether it's a raise, it could be a salary raise, or whether it's resources for a project or more flexible working conditions, don't be afraid to ask for what you need to be successful. Prepare your case, anticipate your questions, right? Once you have the questions shooted to you, you already have your brag book where you are actually kind of validating the factual information that you kind of achieved. And then remember that negotiation is a conversation, but not a confrontation. One thing that you need to remember is closed mouths don't get fed. Be shameless about asking for what you want. When you don't ask, the answer is always no. When you ask for what you want, you don't, and if you don't get a response, don't be so quick to give up. Patience is the key here. No response doesn't mean no. Follow up until you get a response, right? So now you have negotiated. Let's say you got what you desired for, and if you're still in the way of achieving of what you desired for, then go for the next step, which is embrace learning and developing opportunities. Actively seek out and engage in learning opportunities, whether it's formal training, workshops or online courses. It could be a new tool, just like we all discussed. I wanted to pursue psychology, someone wanted to pursue Python. Just keep growing in what you're learning, because there is no age limit for learning, right? It also showing a commitment to your own growth not only enhances your skills but also demonstrates your initiative and drive to your managers. It shows the dedication and the willingness for you to learn and grow up or advance your career. So don't hesitate to share your learning goals with your manager and discuss how they align with your organizational objectives. So once you have all this, how do we kind of achieve everything? It's basically networking. So more than 50% of it is achieved through networking. Because we've discussed so much about networking and considering the time factor, I would just um, give an activity to you guys. So networking could be in the form of friends who support, community that encourages, mentors who advise, and sponsors who advocate, right? So the activity for you guys would be, put your name on the page, write down your most top 10 contacts, important contacts, spaced out to represent how close a relationship is. Um, in those 10 contacts, you might reach out to people who you wanted like information from, or you seek advice, or it could be social or emotional support, or it could be for inspiration, or it could be for anything else, right? So list down the top 10 contacts and then define the relationship with those 10 contacts. So let's say you have 10 people, and out of those two, if you two are your friends and three are your mentors, and maybe like five is from a community, and you don't have a sponsor. So now the task is, what do you see, and is the group of people an inner circle or an external circle? Do you have sponsors? Do you have mentors? If not, what are you trying to do, or what are you trying to change, and how are you working towards getting there to have a mentor and a sponsor? Maybe we can just have a discussion about this in the next session. And having said that, I'll pass it on to Krishma.
Sure, that was great, Madhuri. These were amazing tips. The chat has been lit up with all those rightly said things that you said. So, yeah, and networking and negotiating is very important. I do have an advocate, like, I keep a one-on-one with my manager every month or every 2 months that I get. Like, I try to get it from him. If not that, it's not like a culture that we have, but I try to like give my feedback or just take from him. So that's a really great advice that you gave. So yeah, that was amazing. And with that, we come to the end of the session. Please, I know we are on time, but if anybody can wait, if they don't have a hard stop, we have a little, we could go around. So take out your phones. We have the QR code, and we would have like a little quiz. Like it would just be like few seconds, and we would have winners for that. So
Krishna,
I'll.
can I pause you for a second here? I
Mhm,
do have
sure.
two questions, actually three questions in
Yeah,
Q&A
sure.
that
Go
I
ahead.
think we should take before we get on to the gaming part of it. So
Mhm.
somebody asked, how much coding do you need to know to be really good at Tableau? Don, probably this was the question during your session. What would be your answer for this?
Um, you don't need to know coding for Tableau. You just kind of need to know like formula basics. And like I said, Tableau has a lot of help documentation because it tells you what it is and it gives you sample syntax. it just helps if you've got like a knowledge of like formulas in Excel, for example, you know. So that's what I would say.
Thank you. I have another question from Nandini Chaturvedi. She is specifically asking, where or how did you find your mentor, Karishma?
Is it for me?
I think Karishma is on mute, but we will try and get you the answer, Nandini, shortly. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
we have posted a couple of links where you can find your mentors, and it is as simple as connecting with somebody and asking later. Okay, you got it answered. That's great. One last question. What language would you recommend learning first? So I'm not sure what was this question in regards of. Why,
Uh,
Boo, if you want to clear
uh,
that about coding. Okay.
SQL. I would say learn
Yes,
SQL first. Yeah.
yes, SQL.
A lot of us nodding our heads up here too. It's because SQL was our first breakthrough. And again, I do want to make I want to make it sure that a lot of people up here came from different backgrounds and ended up in data analytics. So there's no one pathway of being in the data world. You can come from any background, you could explore a lot of stuff. We had talked about this in first session of ours, so I can drop the YouTube link if you're interested in learning more about that conversation. Thank you, Krishma. Back to the fun stuff now.
Sure, let me share my screen and I'll have the QR code up and people can just scan it and join. All right, we have 4 people.
I'm bummed that I cannot play this game with you all because we already played it just to do the testing part of it, but it's an exciting set.
Mm-hmm. All right, we have 13 people. Waiting for 1 more minute to people to join in.
You know,
And thanks.
when you see the chat, when I spoke about what you want to be, Scott said he wanted to be an ED, and Preeti said she wanted to start her own nonprofit org, which is exciting.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking to be a part of that org one day, Preeti.
I look forward for a commitment from you all because it's going to be a nonprofit.
I hear you.
I just wanted to say the top 3 winners are going to get some swag. So I'm going to have to reach out to you, you know, for the winners. So thanks for sticking with us. This is a fun
Mm-hmm.
game.
All right, we have, okay, are there more people to join? I cannot see chat, so if anybody's facing difficulty, I can wait or just start with the quiz.
I would say go ahead and start.
Okay, perfect. Here comes the first question. All right, let's go, people. So the question is, what does Tableau is to create? And you have 4 questions to select, answers to select from. Would be spreadsheets, Word documents, interactive dashboards, and visualizations or slide presentations. This is the easy one. Mhm. All right, you have 5 seconds to answer. Oh, most of them got it right. It is interactive dashboards and visualizations. The next question. Okay, this COBOL. Oh, cool. You know, this is as fast as you answer, you can get to the top. So be quick, people. Second question. Where are Tableau headquarters located? San Diego, Portland, Seattle, or Las Vegas? Oh, most of it got it right. Yeah, it's not San Diego, it's Seattle. And our scoreboard. Hmm. Third question. What type of data sources can Tableau connect to? Spreadsheets and databases only, services and big data platforms only. The third is databases and cloud services only, and all of the above. Yes, that's true. You can connect to all of the external data sources as well and the services. Great. Everybody got this right. Oh, Jane. Oh, Borg had a first speak. This is a true or false question. You can manually type square brackets while use data sources field in calculated fields. Is it true or false? Oh, yeah, it is false. You don't have to manually type it. So, oh, that was
That
equal.
was a very divided question. Half
Question,
and half.
yes. Oh, Nandini and Borg. Great. Another quiz. Which of the following is not a way that Tableau recognizes its community? Not a way. Just to emphasize. Tableau ambassadors, Tableau visionaries, Tableau public featured authors, and Tableau wizards. That's an easy one, I guess. 5 seconds. Yes, it's Tableau wizards because that's not a recognition. Many think that should be one, but yeah, it's not. Woohoo. True or false? Again, in Tableau, you cannot change data sources for a single sheet. Is it true or false? Yes, it's false. You can change. And it's at the top. Ooh, me. That's I'm sure it's not me. Which Tableau feature allows users to blend and combine data from multiple sources into a single data source? Data blending, data connections, data aggregation, and data translation. Yes, data blending that allows you to combine into a single data source. Next question. You have the scoreboard. Oh, and then you import again. Which is the best way to visualize distribution of order quantities for a product? Distribution of order quantities. A line chart, a histogram, a scatter plot, or a bar graph. Yes, it's histogram because it's the distribution. Many people got it wrong. Woohoo, Jane, you're at the top. True or false? You can influence tab product roadmap by posting and voting in community ideas. Is it true or false? Yes, it's true. Wow, everybody got it right. Yay. There's 3 questions. We need to visualize data over time. Select the type of field we would need. Data over time. A discrete date part, a continuous date part, a date calculation date diff, and a date calculation date add. Last 1 second. Yes, you need a continuous one if you want to show a line chart and you want to show visualization of data over time. That's true. Mhm. Who made this recent Viz of the Day? Is it Priya Padam, Lisa Tricott, Kimberly Scott, or Annabelle? This was in the month of March where it was all about World International Women's Day. So yeah, so it was Kimberly.
Fun fact about Kim Lee, she has 16 Viz of the Days. So
Oh wow.
do check her profile out if you're looking for
Mm-hmm.
inspiration.
The last question, people. What is the URL for Tableau community site? It's a tricky one. Last second. Yes, it's community.tableau.com. Oh wow, a lot of people got it right. People that got it wrong would now remember it and would want to go more on the community side and see what's going on in the data fam community. So that's good to know about it. And with that, we finish our quiz and let's see who's our top three. Woohoo! Borg on number 3, Nandini on the second place. Ooh, Jane! Yay! So people, please, all the top three, can you put your names? Send it to Dawn, I guess, for the swag. And yes, yay! Mhm. Perfect. Thank you, guys. That we finish our today's session. It was great. Thank you for being there till the end. And yeah, next session, I'll just share my screen again. Mhm.